Welcome to Mishna study, Masechet Kilayim, Perek Zayin, Mishna Bet. Over here in this Mishnah, we're going to speak about if a person bent 3 vines into the ground. Right? So in last Mishnah, we spoke about if a person does so, what does he let a plant on top? Now we're going to speak about if he bends 3 vines into the ground, does it form a vineyard? Okay, now we're going to explain this according to Harambam. He's different than a lot of the other Mefarshim. There's actually I would say, 2 main ways that the Rishonim explain this. Harambam seems to go in the way of the Rimegas, which was his Hacham that he studied from, and there are other approaches that the Bartenura takes, the Rosh. It's an interesting way of understanding this Mishnah. So let's read it and we'll explain. If a person goes ahead and bends 3 vines right into the ground, and their original ikar, the original root, right, the original stem is still seen, right? So this looks as such, right? Like this picture over here, you see how there is the grapevine. You see how the first one on the left, the first vine, it comes up, and then he takes literally an arkuba, is literally like a knee. You see it comes out as a knee. He bends it. It runs seemingly, either above the ground, below the ground, but it pops up on the other side, and he has another vine that comes out, right? So he's really creating from this one vine, he's creating a second one. Okay, so now you see this, and he does it 3 times, right? 3 times as such. Right, so you see how he has it, one vine, and he really creates a second vine from it. He has another vine he planted, he creates another second vine from it. A third vine he plants, and he creates another second vine from it. And you see how it lays out. Now, how are we to view this? Oops, I can't go backwards. Okay, how are we to view these vines? If there's between each one, between 4 and 8 amot, they are mitzaref. Now, between what and what do we have 4 and 8 amot? So Harambam seems to explain between each one of these, right? Between the first, the second, and the third, right? The ones facing us. Other Mefarshim explain that it's between the original vine and the bent vine that you're popping out. That's like the Bartenura will explain this. But Harambam explains it's between the first, the second, and the third, right? From right to left, you are distancing between 4 and 8 amot for each one. Okay. Now, if so, they combine. Now they combine to what? So you could simply explain that they combine, if you have this, they combine to form a vineyard. Now you have 6. Harambam, though, doesn't explain that way in the Chibur, in the Mishneh Torah. He explains that these 3 are now enough to stand alone, and they could combine with others, if you had another 2, to form a vineyard. Right? Other Mefarshim, though, do explain, like the Avad actually comments on Harambam opinion and says, no, why don't you just explain that this forms a vineyard in itself? Right? But Harambam is in the Mishneh Torah, at least, is very clear that these 1, 2, and 3 originals combine with others to form a vineyard of 5. Okay, that's according to the Bilazar, but it be sent off. And let's say it's not. Let's say there's not between 4 and 8 amot, right? Let's say there's less than 4 amot, or there's more than 8 amot, right? Or let's say it's not 3 gefanim. Let's say it's only 2. All these enan mitzarfot. They will not be mitzaref. Okay, next case. Gefen she'absha. If you have a vine that dried out. Now Rambam explains over here. What do you mean by dried out? It means that it's like at the beginning of the winter season, right, where there's no more grapes on it. Right, and sort out like it dried out for the season. Not that it's totally dry, right? Not that it's a dead vine, right? But it's a dried out vine. It'll revive in the next year. But right now, it's dried out. This asura ve'ena mekadeshet. This is asur, right? You're not allowed to plant near it. But ena mekadeshet. If you did plant near it, it's not mekadesh. It doesn't make that grain asur behana'ah if you did do so. Again, over here, Harambam is unique. Bartenura explains this very differently. Bartenura actually explains that it's totally a dead vine, right? Harambam says it's very clear. Harambam says it's a vine in the winter season. If you plant over there, it's asur to plant, right? But what you planted over there, it doesn't become asur b'hana. Rabbi Meir omer af tzemer gefen asur ve'eno mekadesh. Rabbi Meir says even if you plant tzemer gefen is cotton, right? Harambam actually calls this al katan. right? Literally cotton, also modern Hebrew, it's cotton. If you plant cotton over there, asur, it's also you're not allowed to. Ve'eno mekadesh, but it's not mekadesh. Why is it not mekadesh? So according to Rabbi Meir, he considers this like a zraim, like one of like a flower seed, right? And therefore, it's not mekadesh. It doesn't become asur behana'ah if you plant it in the vineyard. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Tzadok omer mishemo. Rabbi Elazar says the name of Rabbi Meir. Af al gabei gefen asur ve'eno mekadesh. Even if you plant it on top of a vine, you have a vine running underneath the ground, like we spoke about last Mishnah. It's less than 3 tvachim below the ground, and you go ahead and plant cotton right on top of that. Listen, you're not allowed to do so, but it's not mekadesh. It doesn't make it asur behana'ah.